Oh, okay. All right, I'll be able to pick that up at some point this week. I just haven't been able to get out yet. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
How's everybody doing? I'm gonna get started in a minute. See if anybody else comes in here. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool, thanks. I'll give it another couple minutes and then I will get started. It looks like there's still some people kind of coming in here. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get started. And today what I was gonna go over is designs and KWCommand. And the focus of the class was how you can build out your marketing pieces. And now that we're in more of a virtual environment, having some marketing collateral that you can build very quickly through command will be very beneficial. And especially when you're doing Facebook marketing or if you're sending out an email, you can create these nice graphics within command and you can use that to promote listings or show off neighborhood stats or neighborhood trends, or even put together things about your market center, which is very convenient as well. So to get started, we just log into command here. So our very oh so familiar dashboard here, as you can see. And if I click on the red button here, I like to call that just the red button. It's the only red on the screen. So if I click that, we will have a slide out menu here. And the tool we're going to be mostly focusing on right now is designs. And I will go into campaigns very briefly, just because I think there's a lot of things you can do with designs in conjunction with campaigns. So after we kind of work through designs, I will move into campaigns a little bit as well. And if anybody has questions as I kind of move along here, feel free to ask. Do I have anybody in here who can no mod today? All good. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my designs. So let's go into designs here. And this is actually my favorite tool in Command. I think I say that about every piece, but designs and campaigns are probably two of my favorites right now. And I like to just be able to show off how to use these tools efficiently. So as you can see here, this is my design templates dashboard. And they have it in a way where it's laid out with filters. So you can see here, I can filter it between my emails, landing pages, social pages, or my social ads rather, or graphics, print graphics. You can do some of your agent site stuff in here as well. And then we can also build videos. So if you're familiar with those neighborhood videos, you can actually build them in here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button here. It's a little blue button, not that little, but it's little enough. If we click on that blue button with the plus sign in it, it's going to bring up a pop-up screen here, and it's going to allow you to choose from different design templates. And I'm going to be focusing primarily on the social and print ones today. There is a really neat function called import PDF as well. And I find it highly useful if you're trying to import templates you've used in the past. Let's say you had worked with a graphic designer previously on a nice postcard, and you want to be able to use that again for what it might be, a new listing or just sold, whatever. You can import PDFs into here, and it converts it into a template, and very quickly as well. So if you have templates that you want to reuse, import PDF is a good way to do that. And it's super quick. Anyway, I'm going to put together a simple Facebook graphic because I know a lot of us are going to be doing Facebook marketing now. So if we click on social, and if I hit next, and also you might have noticed there's a button here that says import photos and text from a listing. What that will allow you to do is actually pull in the information from a listing, including the photos and the text as well. So if you're putting together a flyer, I find this to be more useful because it actually helps you with some of the verbiage. But we'll start with the social graphics, and then I will show you the print graphics as well, because there's a lot of cool stuff in there too. Somebody in chat just rang. Will it convert a PDF into a command template? It will. If I have any on my computer, this is a new computer, so I don't know if I have any right now, but I will see if I have one. I can show you how it works. Okay, cool. So let's go into social, and I'm going to hit next. And what it's going to do, it's going to transfer me over into my design tools. You can see here on the left, it's very simple, templates. Here's the list of all the templates I can choose from, and it's labeled by different categories. So KW app, listings, buyer, lead gen, business basics, leadership, new designs, and pivot. So they've added some of the pivot stuff in here too now. So if you've been on any of those pivot calls, they have a lot of neat little templates in here. These are some Zoom backgrounds. So if you're not happy with where you're sitting in your house, just pop one of these bad boys in and you're good to go. I might actually do that later. Instagram, you got some Instagram templates in here as well. These are pretty cool. These are just kind of like helpful tips. A lot of them are COVID related as well, as you can see. And yeah, just you can download these now and you can put them into your social media. But let's say we're going to be working on a newly listed post. So we're going to put together a graphic for a new listing. What I want to do is I want to click on the listing here. Actually, before I do that, I went over templates, but I want to just go over real quickly what My Designs is. So anytime you put together a design, it actually saves it into a library, as you can see, and you could categorize it by different types of templates as well. Like I have my open house flyers, presentations, and then this is kind of just like a log of all the different designs I've put together in the past. You can also upload your PDFs here. So there's another way you can do it. And you can also start from scratch. So you can actually create a blank template. This is useful if you're putting together like specific sizes. If you're working with a template that has to be a specific size, or if you're just feeling really crafty that day and want to just build something out from scratch, you can use a blank. I like that too. But we're going to actually use a pre-created template. And if I click on listings, it's going to give you another drop down here with all the different types of listing templates you have. So you can see here I have for sale, just listed, price updates. You have neighborhood stats, open houses. So you can put together open house graphics in here. Under contract, just sold, and local expert. So there's a lot. You can see here there's a number next to all of them as well. That means that there's 163 templates within this section specifically. And that's actually broken down between each type of social media platform. So if I click on for sale, you see here I have quite a lot for Instagram, Facebook, Instagram stories, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So Twitter, if you use that, you have some templates in here as well. I do quite like the Instagram ones. I like the square ones myself, but the Facebook ones are also really good. And we're going to use an Instagram one today, a Facebook one today, sorry. So I'm just going to click on one of these. Let's just say it's this one here. And we're going to open it up. And as you can see, when I open it up, it's going to bring me to this template on the right, which is the editable content. And then on the left-hand side is all the elements that I can actually work with. So my images, text, icons, logos, and then there's a KWLS function, which I will get into. I saw something pop up in chat here. Any chance of learning how to use IG for real estate, especially Instagram stories? We can maybe have a class on that one day, and I'll see if maybe if there's anybody who may be interested in doing it, whether it be myself or if maybe we can have a guest person do something like that. Good question. I can keep you posted on that. And IG is actually one of my favorite platforms, so maybe I will do that. Okay, so just kind of moving forward here, going back into the template. Now what it does is it breaks it down. You can see here, these are all different elements. When I scroll over them, you see how it has like a little, it's like a little orange outline. That means that I can actually edit it or click on it. So when I click on something, I can resize it. I could change the photo out if I wanted to. Same with the text. I can change the size of the text by clicking it. I could crop it as well. And what I can also do is if I double click, I can change it as well. So I can say for, let's say it's like a rental. For rent, we can just change that. Ooh, if I butchered that. So for rent, you know, we're going to change it back to for sale, but you see how it is. Now, one other thing that I find super useful, and especially for text like this, where it's requiring a bit more information, I find it easier instead of double clicking. I can use something here called typewriter. So if you click on the typewriter, you see here what it does is it actually outlines the text in that box, and then I can just switch it out here. So I can say this is, you know, 450, and maybe it's 3.5 bathrooms, or we can just say 3, not 35. That's a lot. And then I can just click Save Changes, and you see here what it does is it changes it on the template. It makes it a little bit easier, especially with that type of stuff. Now, just going back to the left-hand side again, I mentioned that you can, including the images I've had uploaded before, you can also add images here, and you can drag and drop them in, or you can pop them in from your computer. And that will upload them into this particular template. I don't believe it saves it for later. So if I drop in a lot of images, I can't go back and reuse them in a different design, but I can use them in this one. You can also connect to your Facebook or your Instagram or Google Drive. So if you want to pull out images from there, I know specifically with professional photographers, they'll send out a link to either a Google Drive or Dropbox link. So that'll be super useful if you have those really nice professional photos and you don't want to have to download them. You can just use your Dropbox account to do that, or Google Drive, whatever you prefer. Now, what they did recently, if you go to company, they actually added a lot of new stock images. So this is very useful, especially for me when I'm like, I don't want to have to go and Google and try to look up different types of stock images. I can actually go into here and it gives you nice stock images now. This is very useful. So, you know, if I want to say like, oh, I want to drag this in, I can just kind of drag it over. That's pretty wholesome. You know, kids eating ice cream, whatever, you know, it might be good for like your July 4th thing. But this isn't what we're focusing on right now. We're trying to work on a listing here. So let's pop this in again. So what I want to do, if I go down to, we're just going to go through this real quickly, and then I'll go down to KWS. But under text, this is where you can actually generate some of the text about yourself. This is more useful for print templates. With any social media designs, you don't want to use too much text, and especially if you're going to be running any sort of promotion on that. It creates a flag through Facebook's algorithm that's basically saying like this has too much text, and you should probably cut out some of that if you want your ad to reach the most amount of people. So just be aware of that when you're putting together Facebook advertising. You don't want to have a graphic with too much text on it. There's also some other things as well that you have to be careful of. But we're not going to worry about that right now. How frequently do they update the library? That particular feature that I just showed you, they recently updated, I think last week. So I'm hoping they're just going to continuously update that library as we kind of move along. But I would assume they're going to kind of swap out photos depending on how well they do. So just kind of be aware of that. But it is nice that they added stock images now. So icons, pretty self-explanatory. This just has, for specific designs, they'll have different types of icons here. And I'm not going to worry about these too much today, as I mentioned, but they do have quite a lot of stock images and stock icons as well. Logos. And I get this question quite a lot with the logos. Where do you find the logos? The logos for your office can be found on KW Connect. And at the end, I'll show you where you can reach that. And that way you can download all the logos for your office. You can then go ahead and upload them in here. Right now, it doesn't actually auto-populate those logos yet. I think as they start fleshing this out more, you'll probably have a folder in here called your market center or something. And that way you can just kind of take in that logo automatically without having to kind of upload it yourself. The photo is blurry. That's what my IG stories look like when I upload into IG. I know specifically because I just popped in the image again, if I refresh this graphic, it would become normal again. Your issue though, I'm still trying to figure it out why it's doing that, because even when I've downloaded your graphics, they came out fine. Maybe we can talk after the class again and we can look into it a little bit further. Okay, so the one thing I want to do now is if I click on the image again, I want to replace that image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to KWLS and I'm actually going to go and search for a listing. So if anybody has a listing I can just use for this particular class, just shout out an address or put it in chat, because I can't think of an address off the top of my head. So if anybody wants to pop one into chat or just scream out one. Anybody? 899 Wildwood. All right, we'll go with that one first. And then I'll use 179 Union when we do the print graphic. 899 Wildwood Road and Oradell. All right, let's take a look. All right, so let's go down here. I think this is it. 899 Wildwood Road in Oradell. I'm going to hit select. So what it does when you do that is it actually will auto-populate the images from the MLS listing, as you can see. And I can go into here, I can select any of the images that I want to use. This particular template is only going to use one. So I'd probably use the exterior. And I'm going to pop the exterior in there. Looks good. Now you saw that I dragged it and drag and dropped it in. You can also click on the image and there's a little button here. It says replace. Now, if I wanted to just replace that image, I can just hit that replace button and it does the same exact thing. So whatever you prefer, I actually prefer the drag and drop method, but the replace image works just as well. So we replace the image on our template now, you can see. And there's some additional text elements here that I'm going to change as well. So in addition to the photos, if I go to listing details, you see here, I can also pull in the details for the home itself, which is also pretty cool. Now I'm going to take this address, and the same way that I replaced the images, I can also do with the address and the text. So I can just do that. And you see here what it did. It updated the text on the template. Now, I don't think this has a year built. Let me see. I don't see one here, but it's all right. We're going to just disregard that. I'm going to remove this. So these are essentially custom however you want. It's not like a template where it's essentially built and you can't edit anything. So like I can say, I don't want to have the for sale here, or I don't want to have the listing price there. I can remove it. The one last thing that I want to update here is my DBA logo, which is my office logo. And for that, I can use the same exact method, which would be, the replace. We'll just use this one for now because it works with this really well. And then I'm just going to center it there. You notice as I'm moving things around, there's also this little blue guide. It's like a line. So that helps you kind of keep things centered and perfectly aligned. I like that a lot. Helps out quite a bit. Some useful tips. So I mentioned before, a single click will allow you to kind of alter or change the sizing or crop. A double click will allow you to edit the text. Now with the photos, it's the same exact thing, but if you double click it, it's going to allow you to do like a crop. So I can crop the image and I can hit done when I'm done. And then that will just keep the crop that I created within that square. So you can see here, it didn't alter the actual sizing. It just changed the crop, but it stayed within the same aspect ratio. So that makes it easier to crop it without having to kind of alter the sizing. I like that a lot too. It's a good feature. And then once you're satisfied, I mean, I can go in, I can add my own headshot. Again, I would be careful with adding too much text. So I think the amount of text that it has on here currently is pretty good. Now, there's a couple ways you can download this as well. If we go up to the top, we can hit download. And there's going to be an option to download a JPEG or a PNG or a PDF. For this particular graphic, I don't need anything else besides a JPEG. So I'm going to download the JPEG. Let's make it 100% too. So once you're done downloading that image, you can go ahead and pop that into your Facebook page. You can pop it into your Instagram if you want. You can forward that in a text message. You can put it into an email. I'll just open it up so you can see what it looks like. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. And that probably took like 5-10 minutes of our time to make this. Now, the other way you can download this, or if you want to share it, is you can use this little button here that says share. And you can actually have this image posted into your Facebook. So it creates a Facebook post for you, or you can use this image link here. I'm going to show you another way to do that I actually prefer. And I think because you can already just do it in Command, it's a little bit easier. So we're going to go over that after. But now that my design is done, I can essentially hit done. And that will take me back into my Command dashboard again. So you see here, we're back in my design templates. Here's the new graphic. One thing you can also do from here is you can create a copy. You can rename it. Now, if you're going to create a copy, that would be like if I want to use that same graphic again for a different listing, but not have to switch out any of like the additional things like my logo all the time. You can do it that way. Or you can also do it from within the actual design tool as well. So we went over our Facebook graphics. Before I go into print, actually, I'm going to show you how you can share this to your Facebook from Command. So we created the graphic, right? Let's see, I think we had a question here. Will you be showing how to do a lead gen ad for Facebook too? I can go over it. The class wasn't really to do the Facebook lead gen ads, but we can definitely go over that. Maybe I'll do it towards the end of the class because we can still use our graphic we created for that. But what I want to do before anything is I just want to show you from, from Command how we can then use this graphic we created and then post it to our social media. So I'm going to go into campaigns and I can use my red button here just to find it if you're not sure. I'm going to go to campaigns and we're going to be sent right over to our new dashboard. I quite like this new dashboard as well. If you haven't been in Command in the last week, which you should have, you would notice now that there's a dashboard in campaigns and it helps you kind of keep track of, you know, what ads you have running. And it has some additional like helpful content there, but let's see if I can get this to work first. There we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to go up to the top and I'm going to go and hit social post. I'm in social post here. And what I want to do is I want to just create a quick post with the graphic we created. So I'm going to go into the Tuesday one, and I'm just going to use this one as the example. Create a social post. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take some of the text. I'll just put something like, what can you be coming home to? It's a little call to action there. What I'm going to do from here is you can see right underneath where it says text, there's an option available to choose upload photo, upload video, or add link. What I'm going to do here with the photos, you can see there's two different options. Choose from designs, upload images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to browse design library. And here's the template we created, right? Give that a second to load. And bam. So the graphic we just created is now something we can post directly to our Facebook from Command. Crop the image. So as I scroll down here, you can see here it gives me the option to publish immediately, or I can schedule it in advance. In this case, it would be scheduled for tomorrow morning. I can then choose which page I have it running to. So when you're doing a social post from Command, you still need to use your business page. So just be aware of that. And I can also preview this now. So you see here, looks really good. I can also get a preview oh, it doesn't show me the mobile preview yet, but you can see here a preview of what that post will potentially look like before I create it. So if I want to see like, okay, I want to kind of tweak it a little bit more, you can go back and then you can mess around with the text, or you can add additional images if you wanted. I kind of like the way that it looks. So if I was good to go, I can hit schedule post, or again, I can go publish immediately, and that will publish that directly to my Facebook page. And that's something you can do from command right now. So you can literally go and you can create that design that we just did. Go into your campaigns, and if we go to social posts again, we can go ahead and schedule out that post or post it right away. So that's one way I like to do it. I think that's a really useful way to post from Facebook from command. So you can only put this on your business page. That's correct. You can put it on your business page to get it posted. What you could do afterwards is, if you wanted to, you can share it back to your personal page. And you do need to link your Facebook to your command. I'll show you that in just a second. When you schedule ahead of time, when you schedule ahead, what time does it post? You can actually tell it what time you want it to post to. In this case, it defaulted to 10 a.m., but you can tell it, I want to post at like 12 p.m. or if I wanted to post at 3 a.m. in the morning, you can do whatever time you want. Now, there was one question in regards to how you can connect your Facebook. So real quickly, I just want to go to settings here. And if I go down to settings, there's an option called post scheduling. That's the one you want to have connected with your Facebook in command to be able to do those social posts. If we go down to marketing automation, there's one here called Facebook Ad Manager. You also want to connect that as well. It's two separate connections right now. Cool. All right. They are free. Yep. I can never sometime, wait, trying to read this right.
I'm sorry, that's my bad typing. I must have hit a return. I can never connect from my business Facebook page to my personal Facebook page. For some reason, when I want to send it that way, I can't send it that way. I can send it from my personal to my business, but not the other way. And is there something in settings that I did accidentally, or?
No, because with command, it only uses your business profiles. We might have to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'd like to also be able to send from my business page to my personal page, so it's tagged with my business page.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. We can talk after the class.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, so I don't want to steer too far away from the path here, so I'm going to go back to my designs. And again, I'm always going to say I like to use this red button because sometimes you just can't remember what that button is. So I'm going to go to designs, and I'm back in designs again. Leslie asked, are there agents in the office that are really good with this stuff who we can hire? That's a good question, Leslie. What market center are you with? I would definitely reach out to maybe your ALC. That might be a good place to start. Okay, cool. So I'm back in designs, and what I want to do now is I want to be able to create a print graphic now. So let's say we're going to be working on a flyer. Perhaps we're going to use the flyer to promote the listing in an email, or perhaps we're going to create some sort of postcard that we're going to send out. You can use the print templates to do that. And in addition to the social graphics, the print graphics have some different templates in there too. So if we go to this plus sign again, and if I hit print, and if we hit next, give that a second to load. So again, it's going to be a very similar screen as when we were doing the print graphics. So you can see here on the left is my template library. And on the right is my designs. So again, this will take me back to my designs. And it's a very similar screen to before, so it doesn't look any different. Now, the difference between the social graphics and the print graphics, as you can see, is that they have some available for different types of print materials: jumbo postcards, flyers, large postcards, standard postcards. This little V means vertical. That just essentially means that it's a letter-sized flyer. When you schedule ahead, can you change it before it runs? Yes, you can. And then Luann, you asked, can you mail postcards yet through command? You can, yes, you can do that. I'll go back to campaigns. Since we did the social one, I'll do the print one as well, just to show you how it works. Okay, so we're back in my templates, right? And what I want to do is I want to do something very similar. I'm going to go to my listings and we're going to go to for sale. And as you can see, there are templates in here as well that are available for listing presentations. You can also do buyer presentations. They have neighborhood snapshot templates. Let's say we want to create a just listed postcard, right? Let's go to just listed. Now, if we're inside of this just listed tab, you'll see here that I have access to things like door hangers, bifold brochures, which are also really nice. I'll tell you a story, not a real story, but it's kind of a quick little aside. I used to do these for agents off-site, and this took me so long to do. Now that command has it, you can literally build out these really nice brochures within minutes. It's crazy. So if I go to, let's do a standard postcard. Now under standard postcard, you can see here I have some a nice set of templates I can choose from. Let's use this one. We're just going to use a sample one today. All right, cool. So we're in our template now. And again, it's going to be a very similar feel to before. On the right-hand side is my template I can edit. On the left-hand side are the elements that I can work with. And this is a just listed card, as you can see. I can switch between the pages as well. There's a button here that says pages. I can lift this up and it shows me the pages that are inside. So this one, it has some of the details on the back already, which is great. We're gonna get to that page in just a second. I'm gonna start with my first page, and I just saw something pop up in chat here. I just wanna make sure I see that. I'll answer that question a little bit. Carla asked about commercial listings. Right now, I can tell you that the commercial templates aren't in here yet, but you could reformat these to be suitable for commercial listings. So just because it doesn't have them in here right now, you can still kind of customize these however you want, and it would work with commercial for sure. All right, so KWLS again, right? We're going to use KWLS. And Gus had sent a listing address before. I just want to pull that. It was 179 Union Street in Lodi. And as I'm pulling that, I see a question. Wait, what was this again? 179 Union Street, sorry, in Lodi. There we go. I think it's this one. We'll just use this one. Cool, so we have the images, as you can see. Kim asked a question real quickly. After you create a flyer, can you download it as a PDF and print it at home? You could, yeah, for sure. And I also would encourage that, yeah, because you can download these as a high-res PDF and you can print it anywhere you want. You can take it to Staples. If you have a printer at home, just kind of print off a few copies. Yeah, you can do that. Cool. All right. So again, we pulled in the listing here. Now I'm going to just choose one of these images here. Let's see. Let's just use, we'll use this one and we're going to pop it into the template. Looks pretty good. So this one in particular creates a little bit of like a gradient. So you can see here it has like that little white filter on the bottom. That's just kind of using it to create like this little dramatic effect. I like it. It looks pretty good. So we have the image that we want to use. And what I can do now, so we go to listing details. And under listing details, you can see here again, as we showed before, I can go in and I can essentially edit the details of the listing just from going under listing details. So I'm going to pull in the address. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. So there's a little anchor point here. It's like a little, I don't know, it looks like a rice. It looks like a piece of rice. So I'm going to actually just kind of tweak this a little bit because I want to center the text. So that's what I'm doing right now. You can see. And as I go and do that, you see that little blue line that helps me know that I have it centered correctly. So it helps out a lot. Now, again, we have the details of the home here, and I'm going to use my typewriter for that. So we have looks like 2.5. So 2.5. And we're going to get rid of these other details. I'm not going to use those. But again, it's your template, so you can use, you can change it however you want. I'm going to use that little rice handle again, and I'm going to just pop that. There we go. And just center that just a little bit. There we go. Cool. And then we do have a price here as well. And I will just change that $369. Great. Awesome. Save changes. There we go. Another question in chat. Is there a back on market label? You could put back on market just because it says just listed. That doesn't mean you can't change it. So this isn't permanent, just so I mentioned before, the text on here isn't permanent. So like if I want to say like instead, maybe we're going to say this is coming soon, right? We can do that. We can put coming soon. And I'll just use my little rice handle here, pop in the text again, and there we go. So now instead of being a just listed, it's now a coming soon. So you can change that. You could use you could use the typewriter, or you can double click on the text as well, whatever's easier for you. Now, as we move along, there's a back button here too. So if I hit the second page, this is going to have the page with my kind of like my details. So this would also be useful with that typewriter tool, because then it just makes it a little bit easier for me to change out my own information. And I'm just going to do that real quickly. I'll just put Realtor Associate, and I believe it's Command R or Alt R. Ooh, what did I do? Sorry about that. I think I I hit the refresh screen there. All right, let's pretend we did. We're gonna go to the back side again because I think I refreshed it on mistake. It's all good. So I'm gonna go here again. We're gonna use that information, and I'm gonna put Realtor Associate here. Hit save. So you see here how it updates it on the template. I thought I saw another question come in as well. All good, Leslie. All right, so here I can just change some of my other additional details. So I might just put my agent website there, right? .kw.com, there we go. Gonna change this as well. And then I will just pop in my email there. There we go. I guess this can also be an image of the home as well, or I can just use my own. I'm going to use my headshot. There we go. So details. Now this has my agent app link, which off the top of my head, I don't know the number, but I'm just going to pretend like I copied it. So I'm just going to put in don't use that one because it might actually be somebody's. But this would be like, I would hypothetically have copied it from either my command dashboard, or, you know, I can just leave that out. Logos, again, I'm going to do the same thing we did before. And you could also drag these in. I'm just going to use that little replace button again. So just kind of center it over. Contact me for additional details or to schedule a tour. So again, this can be any text that I want. You know, it gives you some default text. I can say something like, contact me for additional details or to schedule a virtual tour. There we go. So now instead of, you know, I changed it a little bit. Okay. So what I might also do is make this slightly smaller. I think it's a little too in my face. Change that a little bit and just make that a little smaller. And I'll just move it over slightly as well. There we go. Cool. So we just essentially edited our front, and this is our back. So this is the back of the card. And you could go in, you can change the colors if you'd like. You know, I clicked on this small square. I can change that color if I wanted to. I'm going to leave that, but you can change the colors around if you'd like. This white space here, I would leave blank because that's going to be where the postage information goes. So you just want to make sure it's in compliance. So just leave that blank. Now, the question I had before was if I wanted to download this, can I do it as a PDF? So the same option we go up to from here, if we click get PDF, we can download this now as a high resolution print PDF. And we can hit start download. That's going to create the postcard template for us in a PDF. Now, what I can also do is, because within Command, you have to essentially upload the front and back separately. What you can do is, if I go back to my front page here, and if I go to download, what I want to do is I want to hit current design, because I'm going to download it as a current design. Publish settings, I can use a bleed. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the bleed. I think it's a 1/4 inch. Where do I think we go here, use a manual bleed. Before I do that, I can go into File, Manage Bleed. And then the bleed on here is already set to 0.125. So you can leave that, or you can change it to whatever size you need to. I would say this is probably the most common. 1/4 inch, 0.125, and 1/2 inch. That's a big bleed. Don't think you need it that big. But this should be fine. Again, now because we're using the manual bleed size, again, we can go into downloads. Let's X out of this real quick. Downloads. We're going to download the first page. So it's the page 1. And if I go to the second page after this is prepared, we just do the same exact step. So I'm going to hit page 2, download, current design, and we're going to hit start download. So now I'm going to show you, once this is downloaded, what it looks like. And sorry that it messed up the front page, but this is the first design. So this is the front page. Very nice. And here's the back one. Looking good. So we're going to X out of this, and I'm going to hit done. So we're done with this design now. We're going to go back, and we're going to go into my campaigns real quickly, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a postcard in Command using those designs we just created. So if I go to create new campaign, if we go to direct mail, and I'm just going to go test here, and we're going to go advertise listing. Right now, I don't believe these have any sort of effect on how the campaign is done, but I believe maybe sooner or later it might give you maybe like a different list of homes it will send out to. I'm not sure, but right now, I don't believe this is going to have an effect. Now there's two options available. Default templates, which is essentially the ones that kind of walk you through it and creates one for you. Or you can upload a custom design, which is what we just created inside of our campaign, or inside of our design tool rather. Setup. So this is the front of the postcard. I'm just going to drag it in. There we go. And I don't believe it's, oh, awesome. Looking good. You can see here on the top, it says done. We're going to do the same thing for the back. I'm going to pop this in. Great. Looking good. And you can see here what it does is it actually lets you know what size you're using, 4x6. You can also do a 6x9 or 6x11, which is kind of like a every door direct size. 6x9 and 4x6 are probably the most common. I saw something pop up in chat here. Gigi asked, sorry to go backward, but is there a way to change the location radius on Facebook campaigns? 15 seems to be the minimum around any zip code. I'd like to send it to a specific zip code. Gigi, yeah, right now with Command and Facebook specifically, they don't let you do it by zip codes anymore. So you can only do it by towns. It's just their equal housing, like their what's the word I'm thinking of? They created like a guideline for Facebook ads now, and you can't do it by specific zip codes. But you're right, 15 miles is the minimum radius. Hope that answered your question. Cool. So I uploaded my designs, right? Cool. I uploaded my designs. So I have my front page, I have my back page. And if you ever run into issues while you're doing this, like if you're creating a postcard that we just did and you're having trouble downloading it or uploading it, just let me know. I can have a look at it with you. I'm going to hit continue. So this is going to bring me to the second page of the screen. So this is going to allow me to choose the market center, which if I click down here, we're just going to use the city views one. Now, this isn't going to really affect anything because as we already created the design already within our design tool. So we're not actually populating anything here. This is going to use it as I believe it's going to be for the return address. So we go here, confirm. Last thing we need to do is create our targeting. So let's do, we'll just do it around the office. And we're going to do here again. Next page it's going to bring me to is to configure the actual targeting itself. So you're going to see what happens. Okay, so then we're going to create a budget as well. How many cards do we want to actually send out? So 200 cards, first class postage, 118 bucks. That's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Again, if you're doing a smaller card like the one I'm doing, you do get free. The first class postage is essentially included. So if we go to save, what I'm going to do now is go to configure target. So that's going to allow me to now go and target the area that I want to send out the cards to. If you haven't used this tool, it's really awesome. Once it loads, it's going to show you essentially a Google map here. And let's just kind of go down here. You can see here these little blue dots. So these are different homes that it's going to target around that particular address. Now you can also do different types of filtering. So you can do it by the amount of bedrooms. You can do it by square footage. You can do it by the year built. We can do it by year last sold. Let's say we want to target homes that last sold in the last 10 years. So we can limit the filter to 2010. Last sale price. And again, we can kind of limit that as well if we wanted. Now, what it does is if it's trying to find additional homes, it will scatter that radius a little bit. So you see here that some of those homes moved a little farther away. Not too far away, but you see what it did. If you scroll up to the top as well, there's also a button to do polygon targeting, which essentially means I can create like a square or a diamond shape or a rectangle, whatever you want, polygon shape, not like a circle. Okay, so before I go into next, I see some questions in here. Can you do a custom mailing picking your own addresses? Right now you can't, unfortunately. We do have another partner that works out of the Ridgewood Market Center, KW Marketing Center, Prism, and they do allow you to do the custom mailings with different addresses that you can pick. This one's going to do a radius search, which it does make it a little bit quicker and easier. But if you're looking for something a little bit more fleshed out, you can use kwmarketingcenter.com. Again, they're a partner with us for BCP. But one cool thing about that is you can actually take your design from here. And if you wanted to do something like that, you can use the design you just created in Command. You can pop it into a design template over there. And I think I just answered your question, Andy. Can I take a Prism postcard I have used and created a template? Yeah, you could, because you would just upload that as a PDF into your design tool and it should convert it over into a template. Give it a go. All right, last step. We're gonna just kind of proof our card here. We have a front and back. So as that's loading up, how are these sent to selected homes? And Dara asked, these are going to be sent using a service called Real Mailers. So after we generate the postcard and the radius search, what it allows you to do is they kind of take care of the heavy lifting and they'll send it out on your behalf. So that's how it will be sent out to those homes. Leslie's saying, so you're saying we could not send this stuff to neighborhoods 30 miles away, like in NYC? No, you could. I mentioned that polygon tool before. The polygon tool allows you to create a radius anywhere you want. So if you wanted to send it to NYC, you can do that. Yeah. Cool. So this is the proof. Again, I can also view a larger version of that, and it looks really nice. It's very clean. You see here, it has all the kind of insignias and all that stuff here, the return address. I'm good to go. All I would have to do now is hit make a payment, which I'm not because I think it will actually charge a card. But after you do that, it's going to create your print materials. And you can see here, it does same day processing if it's before 3 p.m. That's also a huge plus. And it's about 4 to 6 days, which isn't too bad, you know, pretty quick. And they are nice. They're really good quality. So I wanted to be able to show that to you. Now, I mentioned I would also go through a Facebook ad. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time to do that, but I would say the process of creating a Facebook ad is very similar to doing the social post. The only difference is you would have to be choosing your targeting and the radius where you want to have it sent, whether or not you want it to be a lead gen versus a click-through ad, and the ability to choose a design from your design library is also available. I have a class posted on YouTube. If anybody's interested, I can send that over to them because I don't want to go over time because I think I would be able to spend a lot of time doing this and I don't want to have to go over time. I know there's a lot of good stuff on today's schedule. So I'll open it up to questions for the last few minutes if anybody had questions. Nobody? All right. So again, I want to just thank everybody for continuing to stop into my classes. And if you ever have any questions or you have issues with anything, please just reach out to me. You can reach out to Elise as well. And yeah, thanks for coming out. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday. Happy Monday.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Have a good day.